Here we are on location once again for this week's Ask Ron from the Quick Start Real Estate School in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
That's our home.
And we have some natives here with us, which we understand now why they don't live here, since this is our second trip and it is May. And what is it, 45 outside?
It's freezing and it was raining all day yesterday.
So,
warnings yesterday.
anyhow, we hopefully for you Minnesotans, the weather will warm up soon.
Got a great group though.
Yes, very nice people
Very
here.
warm group.
Yes. Yes. So question number 1 is from Greg Harris in California.
Great.
Using the 2 LLC option, one directly from the Roth IRA and one for non-IRA expenses, can the manager's duties authority for B subject to and overruled by the IRA owner?
What the heck?
I don't know.
Well, is he saying that your IRA can't secure debt, like you can't buy a subject to
I didn't hear that in there. I don't
Okay,
know.
but-
I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. So there's another part to
don't
Greg's
know.
question. Maybe Greg could reword it and submit it again for next week.
Yeah.
But he does ask again, can the operating agreement reflect similar language as powers of managers section to restrict their authority?
Is he a thinker brain?
Get the operating agreement off the Go Club for the IRA LLC. You need a special operating agreement for that. In A, in B, LLC B, which is your operating entity, you're the manager. Do you want to restrict your own authority? Geez, I hope not. Now, if you're talking about the manager of A, which is owned by your IRA, you know it can't be you. What do you need to restrict? You can fire them anytime you want. All they're going to do anyway is sign checks. So I'm not sure why you're worried about them. And if you are, don't keep much money in A. Move it back to your IRA, take it out, and put it back in A as you need it.
Okay, so hopefully that answers Greg's question. If not, Greg, please submit it again and maybe clarify a little bit of what you really need to know. We look forward to hearing from you again soon. Question number 2 is from Chris Monroe in Missouri.
Oh, Chris Monroe.
Yes, he says, I bought a house subject to. I installed a tenant buyer on a lease option for 3 years. How often, if any, should I inspect the property during their term?
That depends on what landlord you're listening to. All right? Most landlords will be over there every week. You know what my answer is? What's your
Mine
answer?
too.
set it and forget it.
Set it
I'm going to hand them the
forget
keys
it.
and forget
Hand
they
the keys
exist.
and-
Unless they quit making their rent payments, and then I'll have to remember they exist.
That's
I
right.
don't go inspect the houses. Come on. Leave the people alone. They
Okay.
Go non-refundable option deposit. You ain't got to worry about tearing up the house.
The
That'll
mentality-
save Chris some time.
Yeah, the mentality is so different, guys. It's a homeowner's mentality. They're thinking of themselves as owning this property. In fact, if you talk to them 5 years in, even though they're just month-by-month renters, a lot of them think they're owning that house some way.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
they treat it that way.
And I'm guessing, Chris, if you're asking that question, you're hanging around too many low-income landlords.
I would say so.
That's
Okay.
where your problems are.
All right. Question number 3 is from Justin in Florida. I need help understanding how you are assigning lease options today. I have 2 questions. Since this down payment is an assignment fee to me, how does this work so the buyer actually gets a credit? Is this reflecting in the purchase price? And what paperwork are you using to do this type of deal? A quick example would be really helpful.
That's actually some good
All right.
points.
Give them a quick example.
He's asking some good things. Guys, here's the thing. It used to be long in the past that this assignment fee was not necessarily credited towards the purchase price. Well, that's not fair to the buyer, so we wanted to restructure it so the buyer actually will get credit towards their down payment. Now, the only way you can do this is you're going to negotiate a purchase price with your seller. You're going to have to rewrite a contract with the new purchase price between your seller and buyer. And so your assignment fee will be worked into the new contract with the new purchase price. And you just got to work this out between your seller and buyer, but that way...
There's a
your
better
buyer-
answer.
But your buyer's getting credit anyway. Your buyer should be getting credit for that.
The answer is, there is no assignment fee, Chris.
All right.
You're going to lease option it to your tenant buyer, and you're going to get an earnest money, an option deposit, which which goes toward their earnest money, which applies toward their down payment. That's why we don't assign to buyers. We rent to own to buyers, the long agreement, the table of contents, it's on your Gold Club site. And then we get their money, the attorney closes it, then if we want to stay in the deal, fine, we just keep collecting. And anytime they want to go get a loan, they'll get credit for that deposit that they put down, but it's not an assignment fee. So we don't do assignment fees. That's one of the reasons why, because they can't get credit for it.
That's right, but when we first started doing ACT deals, and that's what he's talking about, it's a signing contract term system.
Yeah.
That's what ACT stands for. So if you're getting out of the deal, now we prefer to stay in these deals. Guys,
Me too.
we would do a sandwich lease purchase before we do an ACT in almost every case.
Even with no cash flow.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you want to get out of it, you just simply assign your agreement with your buyer to your seller and let them collect from the buyer, and you get a release signed from both parties, which is also on your Gold Club.
All right, so here's another question from Bill Morgan in Mississippi.
Bill.
So we have Missouri, Minnesota, Mississippi.
All in.
Yes, so Bill wants to know. He says, I know your answer here, but I had a realtor investor tell me that if you buy from a seller and then turn around and lease the option for a big profit and the seller finds out many times, you will end up in court. I know we disclose everything to the seller of our intentions. And Bill wants to know, is he overthinking?
You knew the answer to that beforehand.
And if you're getting that information from a realtor, why don't you ask that realtor how much money they make every year? That'll probably end that relationship real quick, won't it, Bill? That is a load of crap. You buy a house, you can do anything you want to with it, and if you make money on it, you ain't gonna wind up in court. If you do, it's not because how much money you make, it's because you did something stupid. You have every right to sell a thing that you own and make money on it. You don't need anybody's permission to do that. So I don't know where you got that information from. But on the other hand, I'm not surprised.
Right. Hey, he asked it. There's probably other people that want to know the same thing. So here is another question from Adam in Nebraska.
Adam?
He says, it seems like all FSBO listings in my area are at least 20,000 over ARV. Even outdated homes. How would you recommend handling these suspects and their over-evaluation of their homes when pre-screening them?
I'm guessing you're the problem because you don't know how to determine the real ARV, because you're not going to make me believe that all these people are asking way over their asking price. Because if that's true, that would be a very weird situation. I'm thinking your ARV is wrong. You need to work on figuring it out. And if that's not the case, then you're only going to be dealing with people who are asking a fair price, and I'm going to buy it for that. I'll get it for less. Of course, you know we hear everywhere we go, golly, everybody wants market price. Who's going to take terms? They all want cash. Well, that's true, 95% of the time. But we only need a couple of months. You should have seen what we just went through there today when we structured 5 deals.
Yeah, that's right.
They got on the phone yesterday. I mean, 5 deals. There must have been $250,000 in front-end money just in those 5 deals. Now, of course, you got to understand it is a process, pre-screening process, numbers game. Most of them are not going to do business with you, and most sellers are worthless. We're only looking for the few that are.
If you can close 1 out of 20, that means if you get 20 leads in a month, you're going to get 1 deal. If you do 1 deal a month, you're going to make a lot of money.
Yep.
All right. So the final Ask Ron question for this week is from Iseukt, which I may not have said your name correctly, but he's from Maine. Another M.
Or Mrs. Montana.
Yeah. All right. So he says, for an owner financing deal, lease to own, do we keep the home hazard insurance under the owner, or do we purchase our own?
Depends on whether you're buying the property or leasing it from the seller. If you're buying it, you have to get a non-owner occupied policy. You have no choice. You cannot use the seller's policy. It's invalid. They don't own the property anymore. And you think you got a claim, you're going to get a big surprise. You have to get your own policy. If you're leasing it from the seller, their policy stays in effect. But even then, they should get a non-owner occupied policy because it's cheaper. We use NREIG. I don't think we tell you what that stands for. NREIG. Look them up.
National Real Estate Insurance Group.
Thank you. Okay. And they'll save you a lot of money, and they don't care how
Here's
you
the
take
phone
time.
number, 1-888-741-8454.
Thank you. All right.
So that is the final question for this week's Ask Ron,
Okay.
on location at the Quick Start Real Estate School in Minnesota.
We're right across the street from the big mall.
Mall of America.
Mall of America.
Mall of
Yes.
America, fantastic. That's where we're heading now, right?
I don't know.
Are you going to go on the roller coaster, right, Ron?
No. All right. We see you guys next week. So stay tuned for another adventure. By the way, we just taped an hour-long panel discussion that was incredibly good with Jay, Connor, the Wolves, Steve, Real Estate Steve, I'm trying to pronounce his last name, and Todd Foster. And we're going to post it. Be on the lookout for it. It's probably even on today's email if they get it done in time. You'll enjoy it.
It is.
was a
It's
blast.
fantastic.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Bye.